Hello there. First I'm going to start off with, I do actually have things to say. I sort of plan this out in my head. First thing I want to say is, with the blog, is thank you to all the comments I've got so far. They're posting pictures and whatnot. And feedback's been generally quite good. Aside from like the mountain sides and whatnot, which I am going to fix at the end of when the entire map's done, aside from like quests and whatnot. Going to bring in the mountains, make them more realistic. I just wanted the outline, so I had a framework to work in. Next thing I wanted to say is I noticed on the blog posts with the videos haven't been getting as many views or comments. So what I'm going to do, I really should have done this at the start really, is basically say this in video and then type it all up exactly word for word, pretty much, on the blog, so I don't want people missing out either way. In this episode, I'm going to be talking. Jesus Christ! In this video, I'm going to be talking about the first continent, Detri's land. One for land instead of kingdom, so Detri's land. Just go around all the towns and capital cities and whatnot. I'm going to try doing some editing in Movie Maker, which would be fun because I haven't done that in years. See if I can bring up pictures as I'm talking. So first, this is where the story actually starts, with our main characters Solomon Faraway and Tossstick Agneson. In hindsight, or no, thinking about now, I should really introduce them first. Solomon Faraway was an agent for his queen, Queen Catherine, wife of King Detri, who owns Detri's land. He was, like I said, he was an agent. He doesn't actually spend much time beforehand. He never actually spent much time in the kind of that continent. He's got standard citizenship, but no one knows who he is or what he does because he has spent hardly any time there. But at the start of the game, he comes back from a mission, which gets detailed over the game, and that's when Melodrakara, the bad guy, shows up and kills Queen Catherine, who was. This is his comeback. So she was the one who defeated him first. Kills her, basically punches out Solomon. The king then runs in. Melodrakara's gone by this point, and the king thinks Solomon's the one who did it. Of course, Solomon says, no, I clearly didn't. King Detri doesn't believe him. Solomon escapes by jumping out of a whole window type thing. And then we go to Tossstick. Now, Tossstick is a raider. A raider is a group of people, quite large group of people, who have airships and they go around and just raid, pretty much like aerial Vikings, except with a bit more class. Over the past few weeks and months, the airships have been crashing. No one knows why, they just have been. But this didn't stop Tossstick's father from still maintaining crew and airship, still flying out there and doing raids. After Solomon escapes, we then go to Tossstick, who's in his airship after a raid in a certain town, which I'll detail later. And basically, Melodrakara comes along and destroys it. But before he destroys it, Tossstick's dad actually goes, "Take my son, take him, and keep my airship safe." So what Melodrakara does is teleport his Tossstick's dad somewhere where death won't find him easily. The ship crashes, but Tossstick survives, and Solomon finds him as he's been on the run. And then the two of them kind of talk, and then they're going to go, "Oh wait, the same bad guy screwed us over. Let's work together." But Solomon's more involved in Melodrakara than Tossstick is, because Solomon got corrupted by Melodrakara into being a shadow soldier. So his life pretty much ruined. Tossstick's sort of is, but Tossstick's more after his father at this point. So I'm gonna try and have some animosity between what they should be doing and what Tossstick wants to do and what Solomon wants to do, and etc. etc. I'm even thinking about even in like halfway through the game, Tossstick gets a lead on where his father is, and Solomon is trying to stop, like an invasion of some sort to aid their quest, and I'm going to have to play choose which character they're going to follow, either Tossstick or Solomon. You can't do both. You have to do a second playthrough if you want to do both. I'm going to have that coming up a few times. So those are the two main characters. So Detri's land starts off with Meladricar's fortress being risen up from deep inside the earth, the castle on top of it. So Detri's stuck there. The first town we have is a little merchant town called Savonne. Basically, it is where people generally work. They've been taking in refugees from Detri's town, which is a little bit southwest of Savonne, because that got destroyed by Meladricara. So people have been kind of escaping to Savonne, and they've set up a little camp for the people to basically kick down a fence and said, "Look, we'll build some more wooden fences around here. This is your encampment," until we find out what to do. So that's what's happening in Savonne. I'm going to have, because there's a town hall in Savonne, I'm going to see if I can play this off, if I can, is if the player goes into the town hall for the first time, then they're in the middle of people deciding what they should do. Now, Solomon's got basic citizenship, which means he has a right to vote. So I'm thinking of having the player vote for whether Savonne should extend the town to officially home the people of Savonne, or if they should just leave the encampment there and wait for Detri's town to kind of come back. Basically, if the player says yes to extend the town, then the next few times you enter the map, per certain points, the town's going to be extending and there's going to be building upon and whatnot. If they say no, then nothing's going to change. I just thought I'd add a nice little bit of, look, you're actually affecting the story. What else? So that's Savonne. That's a merchant town. Not many people live there, apart from, of course, the refugees. Not many people live there. They mainly come from the capital city, Malade. Now, Malade is a strange town. It's literally divided into 3 sections with absolutely no mingling whatsoever. We have the slums, which is for the lower class. They're generally dingy and kind of dirty and whatnot. You've then got the middle section, which is for the middle class. And you've got the higher sections, which is for the higher class. I'm going to be restricting the town sections by level and or money, and or if you have a certain pass given to you by someone from the section you're trying to get into. So for example, if you have, there would be a quest for a middle class type person. You won't know if they're middle class or not until they actually go, oh look, here's a pass. Basically, it's just a form with their signature on it saying such and such. I hereby give such permission to enter the middle section. So that you have to be certain levels to enter these. If you have the pass, then the money and the level is irrelevant. Same if you have the money, then the level and the pass is irrelevant. If you have the level, then the money and the pass is irrelevant. Yeah. So that's how I'm working that one. Because, like I said, there's no mingling whatsoever. The high class cannot see what's happening with the middle class and lower class. Middle class can't see what's happening with high and lower. Lower can't see what's happening with high and middle. So they're very much cut off from each other, to stop, as my friend Liam pointed out the other day, to stop some people from rising up is to not let them know what they're missing out on. So that's Malade. Most people live. That's like I said. That's capital city. Most people live there. There's only a few shops in each section. Basic essentials. They improve in quality in the section you're in. So that's where most people live. Then you have Caslade. Caslade, which is a port town. Now they've recently, all their sailors have been going off on their usual journeys, but have not been coming back. Some people think they're dead. Some people think they've been all shipwrecked somehow. Something has got them. So the port to the actual port town is closed off until Savonne and Tossstick actually get back there later, as they circle around the entire map. And that would be around level 50-ish. There's 80 levels, so there's around level 50-ish. That'll be happening. So that's when the port opens up again, and then you can use your ship, which will gain. So Caslade doesn't really know what to do. They revere the water being Lazara quite a lot. So the water speakers have been trying to speak to contact Lazara and just say, look, help us out here. But they don't even know if she's alive or dead, so they're just kind of doing it in sort of blind faith. What else is there's the prison. There's Detri's prison, which is a horrible place. King Detri has an obsession with perfection. He's it's his argument against this. Basically, if you were to argue with him, look, you can't be obsessed with perfection. Slums are there. It's not perfect. His reply would be, yes, but they've got walls. They're safe. It's perfect. It's fine. He's very much quite insane. Yeah, he's quite. His obsession with perfection is what gets him. So that's why the Detri's prison is full of people who've been wrongly convicted, or not wrongly convicted, kind of sent in prison for doing something minor, like balls. Sorry. Hello. Sorry about that, guys. Got a call from babysitter. I'm babysitting tomorrow. So what was I talking about? The prison. Ah, yes, the prison. People are wrongly convicted. Not wrongly convicted, as I said. Minor things such as, I don't know, bumping into a guard or something stupid. So the prison's quite full of quite angry people. The prison's not a nice place, so these people have been thrown into prison and they've kind of had to adapt, fight or die. No, adapt or die. Yeah, I was right. Adapt or die. So there's also going to be a section called the escapee camp, where it's been people who've been able to escape from the prison quite sneakily without the guard. Well, not about the guards knowing. They kind of know that they're gone, but don't know how. So there's an escapee camp right below, because the prison sits on one of the cliff edges, the halfway cliff edges on the map. I'm hoping to put pictures up as I'm talking. I don't know if that's going to happen. So the escapee camp is directly underneath, which is accessible from inside the prison. Quite cleverly, well, not cleverly, but conveniently. Then you have one of my favourite places, which is going to be a good source of conflict between Tossstick and Solomon. Is to the right of Detri's land is the continent Forest Hall, which is, as you can guess, this massive forest. That'll be the next level. That'll be the next map to go to in the game. People from Forest Hall generally like to come over to Detri's land, to help out. Forest Hall, quite a kind people. Very helpful, which will be kind of demonstrated throughout the entirety of the game. So people like to come over. However, King Detri again has a obsession with perfection and doesn't want any unruly forest folk kind of coming over and ruining things. So he actually has a small town for them right at the entrance. The only way to get into Detri's land is with one way, so he has a town there. The people who come in from Forest Hall are exiled into that little town. It's a massive box. It's not even a town. It's pretty much like another prison, except slightly better. He exiles them there for about a month, where they're observed. And if they show good behaviour consistently over that month, then they're allowed into the kingdom. If not, they get killed or sent back. Probably killed. So that's going to be a lot of fun, because Solomon's going to take the kind of, when Solomon has to go in there, Solomon's going to be like, how can this be happening? This is clearly wrong. Why aren't we doing something about this? And Solomon's like, yeah, it's wrong, but there's really nothing we can do. So that's going to be a nice little source of conflict between the two. I'm not going to have Solomon and Tossstick. They won't. I'm trying to make this realistic, and when you get two people forced into such a situation where there's really chance and bad things have happened to them, let's kind of put them together, there's going to be conflict. So they are going to have their arguments, they're going to have their disagreements, but they're also going to have their moments where they kind of bond and they kind of explain to each other their backstories and whatnot. I don't want it to be this perfect. Oh look, we're on this quest and everything's fine, because it's not going to be. I wanted the script and the characterization is one thing I'm most worried about, because that's the one thing I want to get right the most, because this is a very story-driven game. I want to get the whole, just the whole kind of, I don't know how to put it. I just want to get it right, I just want to make it seem realistic but funny and sometimes sad and etc. etc. So I'm kind of taking a Joss Whedonish approach to this. I've always admired his characterization and storytelling. Perfect examples: Avengers, Firefly, etc., etc. That's been my main inspiration. That's going to be when I'm going to be writing this out. Just to try and get that same chemistry. What else is there? I honestly don't know. I think that's everything in terms of Detri's land. Oh no, there isn't. There's one big. That's actually quite a big thing. Above, the way the map works is that there's. Imagine that you're looking at the game now. So you got a sea up here, and then there's like a big cliff, and then it kind of goes onto the first plane, which is like the castle, Savonne, the prison, forest hall encampment, thieves camp. There's a thieves camp. They call it the Nomad Camp. I'm going to have a lot of fun with that quest in there. That's to the northeast of Savonne. Then you have another cliff, and it goes down into Malade, the escapee camp, the port. So at the first cliff up here, behind the castle, is a massive pit. Just a super massive hole. That was from the War of the Ancients. Now, I've mentioned the Ancients before, and I think my list is here of the names, because I really have trouble remembering them. Which is bad, because I'm the one who created them. I've tried and remember them, and if I fuck it up, oh well. Oh, wait, no, salvation is at hand. What's wrong? Balls from hell. Not the one either. Right, okay. I can't remember it off by heart. Right, you have Lozara, who is the water being. You have Panine, the fire being. You have Univa, the earth. I've mentioned in a previous video. Univa, the earth being. Zanzibar, the wind being. Tulox, the shadow being. Oh god, who's ice? I can't remember who ice is. Okay, well, no, can't remember who ice is. Ice isn't really important at this stage. So you have those beings. They had a war. I think I have explained this in a previous video. I can't remember. If I have, apologies. I'll just gloss over it now. They had a war. They didn't really like each other. They kind of got on, but kind of didn't at the same time. So the hatred, as tensions were rising, a shadow being was born, Drox, who kind of went, haha, screw you, I'm more powerful. So there was this massive war between Drox and the other beings. So they kind of joined together. Aniva died and taught everything he knew about Earth, keeping the forest alive, and taught it to a mage, and that kind of knowledge is passed down as his successor. And that's what the druid is in Forest Hall. If the druid dies and the successor hasn't learned all the knowledge, then the forest pretty much dies. Earth is pretty much screwed. No pressure. So Aniva died. Lozora's not sure. No one knows if she's alive or dead. Wind being Zanzibar is missing. But people know he's alive because the Raider's hometown, Cloud City Place, which I haven't named yet, hasn't fallen down to the ground, and he keeps up. Firebeam became paranoid and ripped off an entire continent from the world, and no one's seen it apart from Raiders because of a test of rights they have to go through at the beginning of their life. So the shadow being Tulox, he got punched. He got sent down into this massive hole, and that massive hole is behind Detri's castle and Detri's land. In the map, you can only see half of it. It's only when you visit the third continent, I think you see the other half, or maybe a quarter of it. It's a big hole. It's a massive hole. And that's where the shadow energy that corrupts Menedrakara and Solomon and other such people comes from. Raw power from him. So that's going to be a major plot point, is the whole Menedrakara was corrupted by shadow energy. To adjust this, he's corrupted by shadow energy. He wants more of it. Where are you going to find more? Where it comes from? I think that's everything about Detri's land. I tried to make Malay over the weekend. The reason I've been putting many blog posts or videos up is because I've been at my friend's house and really haven't had the time to work nor write anything apart from how not to build a city. Malay is coming on quite well. I've just got to finish off the higher section, kind of iron out some kinks and make it a bit more realistic, and then that should be done. At which point, the escapee camp's done. as far as I know. Yeah, there's not a big camp. The prison is designed. I've just got to do the interior. The prison's mainly interior work. Castle and fortress are done. Detri's town is ruined and done. Savonne's done. The Thieves' camp is fairly done. Yeah, on the face of it, it's nearly done. I've just got in-betweeny bits I've got to sort out. So yeah, that's about it for now. I'll probably do a video tomorrow, maybe during the day if I can. Where doing a video during the day. I don't know what to talk about. There's not really much happening. If I can't think of anything right now which I'll talk about, I'll probably think of something later. For anyone watching this video or reading the blog post, if you want to just tell me what you'd like to know, and yeah, let's do a Q&A session. Let's do a Q&A session with the questions, with the story, anything you'd like to know, what's happening, how's it working, what I'm doing, etc. Anything. I'll answer all the questions in the video and blog post as I'm doing here. So after now, I shall edit out that conversation back there. And thanks for your support, and I'll tomorrow.